Asking millionaires how to make $1 million.
When I was a little kid, I would always drive by amazing houses like this and wondered, what do these people do for a living? Today, we're gonna knock on their doors and find out.
There's always gonna be somebody with a bigger boat, jet, house. I'm doing all right, but what does that person do? All right.
You live right here?
I worked at Adobe, I worked at Yahoo, and the last 13 years I was at Nvidia. I wanted to be a singer.
Yeah, I wanted to be a singer. That didn't work out.
What's the story? Is it okay if we film?
We'd buy older houses, fix them up, flip them.
Building houses. That's not exciting at all. Doing sales, like if you watch like Wolf of Wall Street, it seems like super flashy. The day-to-day grind is just not sexy and it's super boring.
I'm Mia Argentieri.
I was wondering if you have any advice for young people that would love to get a house like this. Yeah, that's fine.
Looks like this time, my boy Noah took it to the streets. Asking millionaires how to make $1 million. No matter how much wealth you have, there's always gonna be somebody with a bigger boat, jet, house than you. So you're always like, I'm doing all right, but what does that person do? All right. Looks like this time, my boy Noah took it to the streets. Let's dive in.
When I was a little kid, I would always drive by amazing houses like this and wondered, what do these people do for a living? Today, we're gonna knock on their doors and find out. You live right here? We're trying to find advice for people that aspire to have a house like this one day.
Be smart, go to school,
Yeah.
work hard. I worked at Adobe, I worked at Yahoo, and the last 13 years I was at Nvidia.
How did you find out what you loved?
I didn't. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be a teacher. Sometimes you fall into things, right? You can plan all you want and then life throws things at you.
Yeah, I wanted to be a singer. That didn't work out. You can have a passion, but somehow that passion has to somewhere merge with commerce. Because you got to make a living. Like if you want like a house and stability and etc., that's one path. But if you're gonna pursue your dreams, right? It's almost like betting at the roulette table. Like if you put it all on black and you work hard, you do all these things, and it works out, and you skyrocket to stardom and success. But that's a 0.00000%. So like if you make it there, then awesome. You can try to be 100% focused on that, but you have to have some flexibility because there may be multiple paths to a happy and successful life.
What's the story?
I mean, her father's the one that bought the property. Local businessman here. In fact, you know the Yeti building? Yeah, that was her father bought that in 34. Oh, I'm a software developer too, so I work from home.
If you had to do your career, would you still go into tech?
Sure. The reason I did is just constantly growing. What doesn't have software in it?
The relevant part about tech is the fact that it's always changing, you're always learning, and so you're always upping your skills in order to provide like new value. AI has been getting a lot of headlines, right? With the new AI chat GPT. There's the metaverse, there's crypto. All those businesses require skill sets. It may be, difficult to get into at some point, but once you're in and you're always learning and growing, there's always going to be opportunity to make money. If you make enough money, then you can live in this big house. Hey guys, if you like the content you're watching, there is a Patreon that you could subscribe to where you get more exclusive content. I will share my journey of how I've made money in sales, things I'm investing in, some of the pitfalls that I've made as relates to investing in my career. I'll be sharing those with you so that you can totally avoid those too. So if that's something you're interested in, you can click the link below in this video and sign up for the Patreon.
I was wondering if you have any advice for young people that would love to get a house like this. Yeah, that's fine.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a painter, and so I went to the school counselor and said, do you have a job board or something? And sure enough, there was this one job available as assistant at a gallery in San Francisco. So I walked in the door and asked this girl, I hear you have a job available, and she said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a student at the Art Institute on the street here. And she said, you're hired. We were at dinner at lunch in San Francisco on Union Street. She said, oh yeah, I got this check. Was a lot of friggin' money.
I think that's one thing that's been interesting about this whole series is that a lot of people who do have money or have a nice house or have a nice car or seem successful or are successful actually are more accessible and helpful than I think people realize. You just have to ask them. So just go and talk to that person next time or ask for a referral to a friend who seems like they're doing well. They'll tell you how they did it and make it a lot easier for you to, if that's what you want in your own life.
I found that also in like tech when I was coming up. There was a ton of mentors that I'm helping out. I used to just have like a bi-weekly call with like a handful of like, I'll say like 5 or 6 mentors, and I would just ask them questions, right? They took my career to like the next level because they would help me out with how to structure my resume, or I'd take a look at their resumes and I'd be able to adapt some things from them. One of my mentors, Alvin DaCosta, he showed me how he put together, like when he was interviewing for these large like director and VP jobs, he shared like his career profile, like, like almost like a brag book. So no matter what industry you're in, just ask. There's a lot of wisdom in advice from the people like all around you.
Is it okay if we film?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you ATX Pro Builders?
Yeah, ATX Pro Builders. So I got my real estate license 15 years ago. Started flipping houses with my brother. We'd buy older houses, fix them up, flip them, and then just transition into this. It's definitely not about money for me. it's the legacy. I'll be able to say I built that house and lived in it,
That's cool.
and I'll be able to say the same about the one across the street and the one down the street. And
There's a lot of ways to make money that aren't super flashy. A lot of times boring is really sexy.
Doing sales, like if you watch like Wolf of Wall Street, it seems like super flashy, but the day-to-day is account planning, it's looking up information, it's making a list of contacts, it's thinking of the value prop for each contact. It's not like exciting, flashy work. The day-to-day grind is just not sexy and it's super boring. The ATX builder guy, he's building houses. I mean, the end result looks fucking amazing. This house looks fucking awesome. But the day-to-day of creating the plans, laying the foundation, painting the house, putting in the HVAC system, that's not exciting at all.
I'm Mia Argentieri.
Oh, great last name.
This is my home here in LA, but we live pretty much in Italy full time now because we're wine vintners. Started as a writer, creative director. I worked in advertising mostly. Then I started doing script doctoring. Then I wrote a couple of scripts, and I started doing, proper writing and did marketing for movies. Sounds of the Lambs. I wrote the whole marketing campaign for the movie.
Sales, marketing and sales. So just want to point that out like really quickly. She's the apogee or the epitome of, oh no, that's a big word. Let's use small words. Yeah, she's super smart. She's done like marketing, creative stuff, runs a wine company, a wine vintner. I've never heard that before. Vintner is a wine merchant. Oh, so it's a fancy way of saying winemaker. Did marketing for Silence of the Lambs. No wonder she owned like a $4 million house. All right, cool. So 3 takeaways from this video. Discipline. Being able to wake up every day, have a regimen, have a strategy, and doing the same thing over and over again. Hard work. Nothing new, but still like super relevant. And I think it needs to be stated because I think a lot of times the dream life is looked at as, oh, like this person's rich and they're living this rich and famous life and they don't have to do anything. Yeah, in some cases, if you're born into it, but for the most part, even after you acquire wealth, it can always be taken away. So there's the work ethic that needs to come with that. The third takeaway is a successful career. The day-to-day is typically boring. It's not glamorous. Yes, there's some fields where it is glamorous, but for the most part, it's waking up and just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Yeah, there has to be some sort of passion involved. Passion may be a strong word. You need to at least like what you're doing enough to be able to do it day in and day out. I don't necessarily think you need to love what you do, but you need to at least like what you do, or it needs to be adjacent to what your passion is, because it has to have some sort of economic value to the world in order to bring you like revenue. If you like stuff like this, hit the like and subscribe button. We're starting a newsletter. You could find the link below. All right, guys, see you in the next video.